it's hard to find an expert more dedicated than John Clayton. He's the consummate pro.
Yeah, it's a nerve-wracking draw. I'm putting some extra overtime for all the bets I'm laying down. So you guys take care and travel safe, John.
All right, Victor, 866-979-ESPN, 206-421-ESPN. Let's go to line 4, Commando Dave. David, how are you?
Hey, what's up, John Clayton, damn it?
How's it going?
Doing great, man. Good to be back on the show. First time this year. Happy New Year to you, Mrs. Clayton, all the Clayton callers, cronies, and everybody else. And to quick shout-out to Victor. I'm going to take some of that action.
There you go. Victor, you got business. You got a client.
Exactly. Hey, and a quick point of clarification from the previous caller, John Clayton. I know it kind of got by you a little bit. Jack Tatum passed in July of 2010.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I mean, you talk about what a great player he was. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, he was a linebacker playing defensive back.
No question about that, man. But I just that caller had referenced Jack Tatum. Look. Let me give a quick shout-out to the owner, Paul Allen, head coach Pete Carroll, GM John Snyder, and the Super Bowl-bound National Football Conference champion Seattle Seahawks. And, of course, John Clayton. The Seahawks won the NFC West, but that only made them a paper champion from the scorecard decision of the division standings. And if the Seahawks were going to Super Bowl 48, they had to personally dethrone the 49ers as the NFC champion. And after a little first half rope-a-dope, that's exactly what the Seahawks did by coming out in the second half with some big-time body shots by Marshawn Lynch, a crushing right jab from Russell Wilson to Jermaine Kearse, and then a flurry of turnovers by the D, including the knockout punch with Malcolm Smith's pick in the end zone. And that's how you take down the champion in the old-school 15-rounder, right, John Clayton?
No question. That's exactly what you have to do, and that's what they did. And you knew it wasn't going to be easy. And, think about the frustration for the 49ers. Now, again, it doesn't equal the frustrations of Seattle because Seattle's been longer in suffering. I mean, they had to go back to 2005 to talk about a Super Bowl trip. But, San Francisco's been there 3 times now, and they don't have a ring. And you wonder, when is that going to catch up to them?
Well, ain't going to catch up with them this season.
Nope.
And while I'm talking about that pick in the end zone, man, let me just touch base on that Richard Sherman thing because it basically, in my estimation, John Clayton, comes down to cause and effect. And the effect, of course, was the constant inundation of the onslaught of media coverage. And Richard Sherman can be shocked all he wants by how it's all blown up. But he was the cause. Richard Sherman was in the end zone with 5 of his Seahawks teammates celebrating a play that sealed the NFC title over a division rival, which punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. And instead of going to the Seahawks sideline and celebrating with the rest of the team, Richard Sherman pushed Earl Thomas out of the way and sprinted over to Michael Crabtree for a mic'd-up, tauntingly premeditated, puzzling ass pat and fake handshake. Now, what's even more puzzling than the pat is the effect of the emotional swing Michael Crabtree had on causing Richard Sherman. Because when Richard Sherman hit the ground after the tip, he's looking back to see if Malcolm Smith got the pick. He stretched his arms out in victory, and it would have seemed like the thrill of victory at home in the NFC title game would be so overwhelming that even after getting punched in the face again, when he got on camera, Richard Sherman would flash that big old smile and relish the moment with the 12th man, who played a big role in that game. Instead, what we saw was Richard Sherman engrossed by the agony of defeat of Michael Crabtree not shaking his hand. So sitting there as a Seahawks fan, celebrating the win, Richard Sherman immediately harshed my Seahawks going to the Super Bowl buzz by dragging Michael Crabtree into things. The 49ers are all back in San Fran, John Clayton, we know this, but Michael Crabtree is going to the Super Bowl with the Seahawks thanks to Richard Sherman. And as a Seahawks fan, I would have just preferred Richard Sherman sprinted past Crabtree to the goalpost, pulled out a pair of Beats by Dre headphones, put them on, and then just walked by Michael Crabtree in slow motion. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. But also, too, now let's put yourself in the position that you were in a younger day. And you're a cornerback, and you're a man-to-man cornerback, and the best thing you do is cover the fade pass. In the most critical play in a championship game you can have, Colin Kaepernick thought so little of him that he threw a fade pass to Michael Crabtree and had it intercepted. In your defensive back days, what would you have done?
Exactly what I just said, man. I would have.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because my man, Richard Sherman said there's not going to be any handshakes after the
Exactly.
game from the 49ers. So why is he then trying to shake hands with the 49ers during the game? I'm telling you, I would have been so elated about being with my teammates, celebrating the fact that we're going to the Super Bowl. That man, and if I had the kind of beef with Personal that they seem to have together, I just let it go and let him walk off on by himself. Go over to the sideline, and I know that our team's going to the Super Bowl, and then I would have got on camera, been excited about going to the Super Bowl. Like I said, flashing that big old megawatt smile that Sherman has. And the funny thing about it, John Clayton, he probably could have said pretty much the exact same thing that he said with that smile, and it probably wouldn't have gone over, quite the same.
Yeah.
But
I thought, I thought the key was the fact that Pete Carroll handled it so well. Because what Pete Carroll did is the first thing, he goes to Sherman afterwards on Monday and says, now listen, he's like, you're allowed to talk and you can do these things, but it's like, I thought it got a little overcarried. I mean, you carried over a little bit too much, and you didn't think of your team. I know you put LOB at the end of the comment, but it's like, you always protect the team, and he did not protect the team. And I thought the point that was made to him was so good. I mean, I thought that was sensational.
Yeah, and you have to love Coach Carroll for that, which leads me to my last shout out once again to Paul Allen, the owner of the Seahawks, because when I saw him hoisting the NFC Championship trophy, John Clayton, I saw an owner with the vision to fire Jim Mora after 1 year. And of course, I'm on record by saying when he hired Pete Carroll, man, I wanted Pete Carroll fired in 1 day, but it's a good thing that I didn't get my wish, because 1,483 days after Coach Carroll was hired, John Clayton, he'll be in Super Bowl 48 with our Seattle Seahawks. Go Seahawks, rock and roll. Talk to you next week,
All right,
John Clayton.
thanks. Let's go to line 5. Matt in Lake Stevens. Hey, Matt.